welcome back to our fourth episode of our mini series. And today we want to look a little bit at a couple of questions that will propel us into the future. And the subject of this fourth episode is what the metaverse will look like in the future. So today, again, Gaurang, you are with us to answer a couple of questions that we had for a couple of our viewers. And the first one that's coming into the pipe is, so will the metaverse become the way we interact on the internet with each other?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That's what I think is going to happen. Uh, we don't know when that is going to happen, but I think there's a distinct possibility it will happen. Now, if you look at the internet as a whole, right? So, if you look at internet in the beginning, when you look at Web 1.0, as we like to call it, Web 1.0 was just like brochures on the internet, right? You had some nice websites with some pictures and some just images there, right? And then if you look at Web 2.0, you had e-commerce websites, you had Amazon coming up, you had other other applications coming up. And now if you look at Web 3.0, which is the blockchain internet, I think we're getting there, right? And metaverse is just another layer on top of it, where you add more VR, more AR there, and you talk about ownership of your data, ownership of your land, and creating your own experiences. Yeah, so I think metaverse will get there, but not unless we have a seamless UX for people, right? We need to make it easy even for non-tech savvy people to use it. So nowadays, when you want to use WhatsApp, it's so easy, right? You just open an app on your phone and you start chatting away. But for the metaverse, I don't think that's the case right now. No one can just go on the metaverse and start using it just like that. I think we are some way away from that, but I think we'll get there. Yeah.
So, in order to understand a bit clearly, what do you think about, for example, so some games and some platforms? Are these already made sort of a universes considered as metaverses?
Yes, 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 absolutely. So, Sandbox, which is one of the Web3 metaverses, if you look at the URL of Sandbox, it's sandbox.game. So, Sandbox itself is a game, right? Even Decentraland, they have built it as a game. So, I think there's a big intersection between gaming and metaverses. Uh, on Sandbox, for example, every land can become a game. So, there are a finite number of lands in Sandbox, but on every land or like a combination of lands, you can build your own games, you can build your own experiences, you can have your own quests on those games, so I think these are games already. And if you look at other web 2 games like Minecraft or Roblox, they are also considered as a metaverse to an extent, right? So I think there's going to be a big intersection between gaming and metaverses. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Now try to think somewhere around 10 to 20 years into the future, and imagine what should be and what will be the key to the success for metaverses platforms.
Yes, I think the major hurdle right now for adoption of the metaverses is a good UX, right? If you look at the user experience right now, it is not optimal at all. It is not optimal at all, right? If you look at, let's say, Web 2 metaverses like Meta or Horizon Worlds or what they're building, you need a good quality hardware to actually enter that metaverse, to use that metaverse. And if you look at like Web 3 metaverses like Sandbox or Decentraland or Voxels, you need to have some crypto, you need to have a crypto wallet at least to actually go and use that metaverse, right? And as you know, downloading a MetaMask wallet, creating the seed phrase, creating your Ether address, that's not so simple for non-tech savvy users. So as I was saying, similar to WhatsApp, you should be able to just open an app and start chatting away. Like, you can't do that in the metaverse right now. So I think these are some of the really big hurdles. So as long as we achieve a good and seamless UX, I think we'll get there. But if you look at the current state of the hardware, it's first of all, it's so expensive, right? So the latest Facebook, the Meta, the Oculus, it's $1,500. Not a lot of people can afford that. One, and second is if you use that hardware for more than a few hours, you get a lot of fatigue, right? So your eyes start watering, your head starts spinning. People are not used to that. So I think unless we actually solve all these problems, unless we make it really seamless for the users, I don't think we're going to get there. So I think in the next 20 years, these should be the main priorities for the metaverses. Definitely.
So the key of success would be basically to have a simpler hardware, something that is a bit more, intuitive and not too invasive, right? So it would be related to the hardware, you reckon?
Yeah, yeah. So like, I don't know if you used Oculus, but if you use an Oculus, it's a bit weird, right? So you don't know what's happening nearby you, so you can actually go and bump into objects in your living room, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Now with the new Oculus, they're trying to solve those problems, but I don't think we are there yet. So I think in the next 10 or 20 years, we should get there. Yeah.
All right, all right. Yeah, hardware indeed. So now the question that we probably all have as well is, what are the possibilities that exist for the metaverses to, participate and collaborate together in order to make, like a seamless experience between the metaverses?
Yes, yes, yes. I think this is one of the most important things for metaverses. So, in order to gain mainstream adoption, as we were talking about in our last video, uh, in the future, I don't think there's going to be just one metaverse, right? There are going to be multiple metaverses. Each
Mm-hmm.
of these metaverses will have their own niche, right? So it's very important for all these metaverses to combine and to collaborate together, because in the future where you have a multiverse,
Yep.
as a user you need to be able to walk, or you need to be able to travel from one metaverse to another in a very seamless fashion. Yeah. So for example, I and a couple of my colleagues, we have come up with a new NFT standard. It's called EIP5606. We call it a multiverse NFT standard. Even if you look at like simple examples like NFTs right now, ownership of your clothes, ownership of your digital fashion in the metaverse, the problem here is, uh, right now you have to buy one NFT on each of the metaverses, and you don't have any connection between those NFTs. So I think there needs to be a standard like this multiverse NFT standard that needs to be adopted by multiple other metaverses. That's the first step towards that. And the second step is the asset conversion itself, right? So right now, if you want to go from one metaverse to another, the file formats are completely different. So each metaverse has its own file formats, each metaverse has its own idiosyncrasies, and hence, even for designers and developers, building something that is truly multiverse compatible is very difficult right now. There is one solution to that though. So Pixar has come up with a new standard called .usd. It is a file format, universal scene description, and NVIDIA is kind of championing that. So if this file format gets adopted across metaverses, I think that will solve a lot of problems for designers and developers. So let's see how that comes out. It's going to be an uphill battle, uphill challenge definitely. But from what I've heard, companies like Meta are already adopting and championing this standard. So if this standard gets adopted, I think it's one step closer to a real
Mhm.
collaboration, to a real interoperability between metaverses.
Okay, I see. Well, that almost answers the next question, because you already spoke about, okay, the point where we are going to accept the metaverse properly. It's thanks to the hardware, and now it's thanks to this new NFT standard, for example, the 5606 that Navu created, and then with the new standards of Pixar, and the one that Meta is doing. So this is a great segue to the next question, which is like, okay, looking to the future, okay, how we will interact with the various digital worlds. So I think you already almost answered all this, right? But maybe you can specify a bit more, in detail. How do you see, this interaction with the various digital worlds?
Yeah, yeah. So, Alexis, I think there are multiple pieces to this. Okay, so as I said, one piece is the asset conversion itself. So, the conversion between file formats, that's very important, and a lot of people are trying to solve that. Right, that's number one. Second is the technology itself. So, if you look at NFTs and just the Web3 metaverses, for example, if you look at where NFTs or digital collectibles, as some people like to call it, That's the second piece of the puzzle, right? In this case, right now you have just too many NFTs, none of them are connected with each other. So I think these need to be connected. And then the third one, as I said, is seamless UX, having good quality hardware, making it easy for people to actually collaborate together. So what I think is, although each of these platforms, each of these games, each of these metaverses, they're trying to build their own systems, there needs to be some standardization. There needs to be some kind of a middleware or common ground that these people find. So for example, if you look at digital design, you have some standard file formats like .png, .jpg, or even .ai file formats, so that if you have an .ai file, you can use that, or you can open that in multiple softwares like Adobe, InDesign, all these things. uh, so what I'm trying to say is, if we have these standard conventions across the industry, that will make it really easy for developers and creators to collaborate with each other, to interact with each other. And once the creators can start collaborating with these platforms, that's when the users can start interacting with the various digital worlds as well. Right now, it's simply really too difficult, and people really don't want to take that effort, right? Why would someone want to do it if it is not easy? Yeah.
Well, this is why we have now Metalinq, right? Very well.
Exactly.
Well, Gaurang, thank you very much. This has been very informative. This is where now all the questions have been exhausted, and you've again answered with a lot of clarity. I hope we're going to have a lot of comments about the answers that you've given, and people participate a bit more. But thank you so much for joining us again for this great episode. And well, hope to see you again soon. We'll have further questions for you.
Thank you, Alexis.
See you. Take care.